Kevin Kruger is joining Bleck and Abdalla now here on Westwood One Sports, the assistant to the head coach at Illinois as the Fighting Illini make their way to the Final Four. Coach,
yeah,
it's great that the Illini are here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the mindset of the team prepping for Saturday?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because we were just talking about that with Dallin and Sean.
Yeah.
I thought that we've all been around teams or been around programs where you kind of get to a point maybe that somebody didn't expect, or you get to a point that's kind of like a pinnacle, quote unquote pinnacle, like a Final Four or even the Sweet 16, where so many times you can almost have this feeling of this is good enough, and you have to fight that and you have to get everybody kind of back together. But to Coach Underwood's credit, it has not felt like that. I mean, it has felt like, guys, this was incredible. He made sure everybody understood, all the players understood how unbelievable this accomplishment up to this point is. However, when we met the other day for the first time since Houston, or since the Houston trip, it still felt like there was a great feeling of this is great, but let's get one more. And that is so hard to do, I think, to get everybody to feel that, because it's human nature, right? And so I thought he did an unbelievable job of that so far this week.
We hear from coaches and players all the time how tough it is, like you mentioned, to win X amount of games in so many days in this tournament. How tough is it also to navigate this week in particular? Like when you guys ride in on the bus and the Illinois logo's everywhere and everybody else is, and you see like Lucas Oil, and then you drive by the Marriott and the bracket is on the giant side of the building. How tough is it to tell your team, like, hey, we need to just focus on ourselves and trying to rein everybody in, that yes, this is the Final Four, but like we got to focus in and rein everybody in? Yeah,
I think that's a lot of that's the maturity of your team. There's some things you can't control. With social media being what it is now, there's a lot of things that you wish guys would never see or hear. But what are you going to do to an extent? Because I do think for coaches, it's of course a lot easier to just kind of shift your preparation and your mindset to like, all right, because as soon as the game ended, the day later, it was like, all right, we got UConn, and we got to get ready for UConn, because you got to make sure that you do everything in your power so that the guys are as informed as they can possibly be. So hopefully the guys, I feel that the guys feel that too. Of course, it's a little different schedule instead of Thursday, Saturday. This time there's a few more days in front. But this group has has been as consistent of a group as I've ever been around. They go to practice, they work hard, they do what they're supposed to do before practice with Coach Flesch, strength and conditioning coach. They do what they're supposed to do after. And they just have a very workman-like mentality to it. But at the same time, as I know you guys have seen, they have quite a bit of fun while doing so, which finding that blend, I think, is part of the reason why some teams excel more than others.
Kevin Kruger joining Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We broadcast each and every day from Chicago. We're both from the northern Illinois suburbs. We're from there. We've lived there. We broadcast from downtown Chicago. We have talked a lot this week about this weekend and the amount of Illini fans are going to make their way east to Indiana and to Indianapolis for the Final Four. What's the vibe on campus this week? Before we break down the actual game, are you seeing that? Do you feel that you guys will have a lot of support here, maybe more than any other team that gets here?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to
quantify
that,
right,
but
right.
I think just knowing, Illini Nation and Illinois basketball, the fact that it's not a plane ride, it's a hop in your car and go. I think that there will be a substantial more amount of people here versus having to get on a plane, which is great. It's great to. I think there's going to be a lot of orange and blue in that stadium, and hopefully it's a huge stadium, but hopefully it's loud enough to kind of help the guys feel it and sense it. But the guys know how much Illinois loves them and how much the fan base loves them. I mean, the send-off, the welcome back when we got back from Houston, there's no confusion about how much Champaign-Urbana and Illinois fans love Illinois basketball.
You guys faced UConn back at the end of November. It was a loss. How much different is your team now, and how much different is UConn now?
I think that, there's definitely a lot of differences when you do anything as early as we did. If we had played in like even Iowa, yeah, there were some differences, but not. I don't think either team was hugely different. But when you do play in November and you've got a freshman finding his way, you've got Andrei Stojakovic, who had missed 10 weeks in the preseason, kind of finding his footing and how they're all going to blend. Mirkovic is a freshman. Just all those guys that we didn't quite. Nobody really, you don't really know what you have with freshmen until about the Christmas time, Christmas mark. And so those guys played low minutes in that game, and then, of course, became staples of our Big Ten season. So we definitely feel like we're different. With UConn, of course, I'm sure they feel that they do some things different and better, but their DNA is their DNA, and that's championship-level DNA. So as much as anything, we know we're a little bit different, but we know that it's going to take an absolute, knockout punch after knockout punch to beat UConn.
When you're watching the tape, prepping for it, what's something that stands out on tape of Connecticut that you need to make sure your guys are aware of heading into this game?
Well, on the defensive side, you can never fall asleep. I mean, they run so many good sets and so much good action, and they blend so well together that the minute you fall asleep, take a break, or peek somewhere where you're not supposed to, somebody's shooting an open shot, or somebody's got a great post position. And they play, I think, in my opinion, they play as well off of each other as anybody in the country. And they just know what each other's going to do. They read and react with each other. And so we cannot take a break. And then on the offensive side, we got to take care of the ball. We got to continue to move parts and move bodies like Tyler Underwood's done an unbelievable job on the offensive side, getting hunting advantages and putting guys in spots where they can create for each other. And so if we can do that and we can kind of get them a little unsure defensively, hopefully we can get some open looks.
The last couple games for you guys, the second half, the defense is really locked down, the offense really starting. What are you guys doing in the second half back in the locker room? Is it like a Jordan Secret Stuff thing? Is it like a Space Jam thing happening? What is happening in the locker room in the second half of these games?
Well, the Coach Underwood was unbelievably calm in the second half at halftime of the Iowa game. He was extremely just level because one thing our defense has done is, yeah, Iowa came out and threw a haymaker, but then the last 35 minutes, we were pretty good. And I think our physicality, our length, it's just kind of, as cliche as it is, it's kind of a numbers game. We've got to make people take tough shots. We've got to rebound the ball. And then over the course of 40 minutes, we're going to love where we're at. So at halftime, there was no yelling, screaming, kicking stuff. It was very calm. It was very collected. And I think the guys really just took a breath at that moment and really just had probably our best half of the year.
Kevin Kruger joining Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. You're here on behalf of Coaches versus Cancer.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Coaches versus Cancer, specifically the Golf Classic in Vegas that is now in year 19. My dad started it 19 years ago. He lost his dad to cancer in the late 90s, so it's been something that's been near and dear to his heart. He got involved very young with a handful of other coaches, and it's grown, of course, nationally and even globally to an extent with how many people are involved and how many people want to support and learn about it. But it's not just Coaches versus Cancer. His event in Vegas especially is, CEOs, business people, coaches, but not just basketball either. Dan Lanning was there last year. There's been football coaches that have come through, business owners that have come to help and be a part of it. And just raising awareness for cancer research is the main goal, and because everybody's been affected one way or another by cancer.
Absolutely. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. ILL.
I.
There we go.
Kevin Kruger joining Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. The assistant to the head coach, Brad Underwood at Illinois.